Yo, what is going on, YouTube? So the MW3 beta is here. For most of you that are just playing the beta for the first time, you'll see that most of your settings from MW2 and Warzone have carried over. But if they haven't, don't worry, this video will help you out a ton. I'll be going over the settings that are absolute must changes and some new settings that you're going to absolutely have to change in Modern Warfare 3. But in addition, I'll be showing you guys my personal settings. Before we get into all of that, if you guys wouldn't mind dropping a like on this video, I'd appreciate that a ton. Subscribe if you guys are brand new around here. I have a lot more Modern Warfare 3 content coming in the future, so you don't want to miss that. Without further ado though, let's get into the settings. Starting out in the controller settings, a lot of these are going to carry over from Modern Warfare 2, like I said, but for those of you who are new to Call of Duty or just want to know what your settings probably should be, I'm going to quickly go over these. So in the edit button layout, I do play tactical. Basically, this swaps your crouch button from circle to your right stick, so you're able to crouch and drop shot more effectively. This is great if you don't play with paddles. Bumper ping isn't really something you should be using in multiplayer. This is more for Warzone, and even then, I don't really recommend it. You'd have to use a selector to swap between your tactical and lethal. Flip L1, L2, R1, R2. If you guys don't have digital tap triggers, I recommend switching these and playing flipped. Obviously, it's user preference. The stick layout is usually default. For controller vibration, I do play with mine off, although if you are somebody that does play with controller vibration, there is now an option to go ahead and change the intensity of the vibration. Trigger effect, you just want that to be turned off. Make it so that way it's as instant as possible. The input dead zones, now this is a very cool feature. As you can see, my dead zones are here, but this gives you the ability now to test if you have controller stick drift in game. Basically, the way that you're going to want to test this is go ahead and take your stick and roll it around the outside and then let it come back to center. If it comes back to center and stays still, then you don't have any stick drift. I'm going to do it now for my right stick. As you can see, there's a little bit of stick drift. You see the R is jittering just ever so slightly, but it's not something that's going to be that noticeable. And then obviously, if you want to go ahead and kind of get rid of that, you can always go ahead and up your dead zone. And now if I go back and test that, you'll see my dead zone now got rid of that stick drift. There's no more stick drift. Obviously, your dead zones, you're going to want to play with them as low as possible. I don't mind my right stick having a little bit of stick drift, only because my right stick, I'm always kind of moving my right stick. So a little bit of stick drift isn't going to mess up my aim or anything like that. The left stick max dead zone being set to 60 is something that is going to make your movement a little bit better. As you can see, when you test the stick dead zone, you see how fast I get to kind of the max movement versus the right stick. It takes almost twice as long because it's set to 99. The left stick gets that max threshold, making it so you get into your auto attack sprint faster, you get to your movement faster. The things that you're going to want to be doing faster, you're able to do that. For your L2 and R2, I do recommend putting these to 1. Obviously, I'm using digital tap sensors, so this is a way that you can get your L2 and R2 to go ahead and actuate just a little bit faster. Obviously, if you're ADSing without pressing L2 or you're firing without pressing R2, you're going to want to turn these up just a little bit. Getting into aiming, your horizontal stick sensitivity is all preference. There is now an advanced horizontal stick sensitivity. I don't recommend messing with that too much. I do recommend just kind of sticking with what you've played before. It's just going to make you more consistent across titles. Your sensitivity multiplier, obviously I have all of these set to the normal. Vertical aim axis, these are all standard. Getting down to the tactical stance sensitivity multiplier, I have mine set to 0.9. That's because in my custom zoom sensitivity multipliers, my low zoom is 0.9. So you're going to want to match your low zoom optic sensitivity multiplier to your tac stance sensitivity multiplier. So that way, when you're in tac stance and you're ADSing around, when you come out of the tac stance and ADS, it will be consistent. So your low zoom and your tac stance should always be, the multiplier should be the same. Another new setting that they came out with was with the aim response curve. We have still the 3 normal standard linear dynamic, but you're able to go ahead and adjust it accordingly. I will say I did test this. I turned my aim response curve slope down to 0.5. I did find that I got less aim assist with it at 0.5, so I recommend leaving it at 1. When you have the ADS sensitivity transition timing, this is something that you're going to want to have at instant. Again, all the things you want to be able to do in your settings as fast as possible, so you're going to want that on instant. These are my custom sensitivity multipliers if you guys want to go ahead and use them. Target aim assist, you're obviously going to want this as on, and this is another hot topic people have been talking about. On default, I did notice I got less aim assist. I felt like the aim assist was nerfed. It wasn't anything insane like a lot of people were saying, but I felt like it had less aim assist than the current Warzone title or even previous CODs. Something that I found to go ahead and help out was actually putting this on Black Ops. This was broken at the start of Warzone 2 and MW2. And it seems to be the case in MW3 that Black Ops aim assist gives you a stronger aim slowdown. So highly recommend you guys go ahead and set this to Black Ops if you're having any kind of sensitivity problems. Going into motion sensors, obviously turn that off, and then the other thing doesn't matter. Gameplay, I'll just breeze over these. Basically, ATS, automatic tac sprint, you're going to want that on. Unfortunately, there is no tap to slide, so that weird little delay that's in right now is just in. There's nothing you can do to get rid of it. However, that is probably going to be taking out for this weekend's beta. Hopefully they update the movement, but if they don't, then this is where we're at. Another thing that you're going to want to go ahead and do is change your interact/reload behavior. Put that on prioritize reload. When Warzone does come out, you're going to want to switch that to prioritize interact. If you have it on prioritize interact, with most people's settings when they switch over will be on that from Warzone. Basically, it's going to make it annoying where you're picking up guns when you're trying to reload. If you switch to prioritize reload, instead of picking up the gun, you will reload instead of picking them up. So just a little pro tip for you there. Weapon mount, exit delay, you want to have that on instant. Other than that, there's really nothing else that you need to change. The ping wheel delay, I have it set to short, although I don't use my ping wheel often. Next up is going to be in your graphics settings. So I am currently on PS5. On your on-demand textures, I have this on, leave all that kind of where it is. World motion blur, you're going to want this off. Weapon motion blur off. Film grain at 0. Depth of field at off. Fidelity FX CAS, put that on, and then I personally like it at 100. Obviously it defaults to 50. Some people don't like it, some people do. 120 hertz refresh rate should be on. Field of view, you do want to click square on this. You want to play at whatever field of view you play on, but you want to make sure that you're playing on affected and that you're playing on wide. Basically will take away most of your visual recoil. First person camera movement, you want to have this on at least. It defaults to 100%. You want this on least. Inverted flashbang is totally up to you. Spectator camera is up to you. And then your safe area, this is another kind of pro level or cheat code, if you will. You want to make your safe area not at the edge of your screen like it suggests, but you want to make it as close to the middle as possible, because it'll move your mini map closer to the center of your screen. It'll move your HUD closer to the center of your screen, so you don't have to look around kind of the screen as much. I don't have to look as far up to the left or low down to the right, depending on what I'm trying to figure out. You're able to watch your mini map a lot more effectively. For those who are playing on console and don't have access to filters, if you go into interface and go to color customization, turn on Tritanopia. This is a colorblind setting which is used in previous games to go ahead and give you more color, but also you could do color filter settings. So this, for me, I like color filter 2, but when you guys are going ahead and applying this, make sure that you have it applied to both, so it's not only in the menus, but it's also in game in the world. Basically, the world is the map, what you see when you're playing. And then obviously I have it up to 100 and also up to 100. This will add a little bit more color, more saturation, more pop into your game, making it slightly more enjoyable. The next thing you're going to want to focus on is in your crosshairs. Make sure this is not set to on or to off. You want to make sure that it is set to static. Basically, the crosshairs by default, they kind of move around your screen when you're moving left and right, and they like are shifting now with these new crosshairs, and it's very annoying. Static is that OG Call of Duty crosshairs that stay right in the middle of your screen. They never move. It makes centering a whole lot easier. Obviously, center dot is turned on, and then all of this is just kind of default. I do recommend turning on your connection meter just so you can see what your ping is in game and if you're lagging, all that kind of stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to see more MW3 content, tips, tricks, settings videos, anything like that, make sure you guys are subscribed. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed. And as always, guys, hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.